welcome to the first podcast episode of Kiyamin. Before we start, I do want to apologize if this comes off as awkward, just because this is the first episode and I'm kind of just learning everything right now. So, this is like my pilot episode. I'm also sorry ahead of time if I say a lot, but I'm very excited. What is this podcast going to be about? It's going to be about things that I find interesting. It's going to be about things that are going on in the world, locally, nationally, sorry. And I don't know. I want to have friends on here. I want to have my family on here. If there's anybody who wants to come on this podcast, that would be awesome. I would be totally open to that. Yeah, I'm just excited. I really have been wanting to do a podcast like this for years. I think the first time I really thought about it was when I was 16, and then again when I was 20, I think. I don't know. I don't have to get into all that, but yeah, I just want to thank you for listening to this. I'm not going to apologize so much this episode. I need to work on that. I'm not apologizing on this episode. But yeah, so let me introduce me. I am 29. I'm 29. I'm in the last year of my 20s, which is crazy. I was about to say that I'm 28, but no, I'm 29. Um, I come from Saskatchewan. More specifically, kind of all over Saskatchewan. I grew up mostly up north in Isla Crosse. That feels like home to me. Isla Crosse is home to me. Um, just because it's where I feel like I really found my identity, like who I am. And I have so many friends there. I have family there. When I talk about home, that's where I'm talking about. I'm also from Mistawassus, and that's another place that feels like home, but for different reasons, you know? Like, I spent a lot of time growing up in Mistawassus, so, it just feels like home as well. I don't know, it's so weird, but I think as Indigenous people, we don't really have, like, one place that's home. I could go to Mr. Oasis and I feel like I'm at home. I can go to Isla Crosse and I feel like I'm at home. I'm in Saskatoon and I feel like I'm at home. I don't know. There's just a lot of places that feel like home to me. Um, but yeah, so that's my roots. Grew up in Isla Crosse. Um, Also grew up in Mr. Oasis. Also grew up in Meadow Lake. I've honestly lived like a lot of places in Saskatchewan, but for some reason never Regina. Oh, I was gonna say PA, but no, I've lived in PA. That's where I met my partner. And I lived there for a bit with my best bro, Mal. She is the best. Shout out Mal. I love her so much. And yeah, I don't know. I'm just a little Saskatchewan girl, I guess. Little Treaty 6 territory girl. That's where I'm from, Treaty 6 territory. I have so many stories I can tell from like every place, you know? So many things that have shaped me over the years. I currently reside in Saskatoon. I am still a university student, believe it or not. It's been 8 years and I'm still trying to get that education degree. And I know um if we don't really talk and you have me just on socials, you're probably like, what the hell? Didn't she graduate? And yes. Did I graduate? Technically, not really. But I'm gonna be vulnerable. I'm gonna lay it all out because that's what I want this podcast to be, is me being vulnerable, me sharing my life, me talking about real stuff, and sharing my experience and talking about silly stuff sometimes, but whatever. Anyways, back to university and my education. Did I participate in a graduation ceremony? Yes. Everything, if you have me on socials, if you have me on socials, you know this stuff because I posted about them. But what I didn't post about was my shortcomings, I guess you would say. No, your girl didn't graduate. So I participated in the graduation ceremony, yes, but I still had spring and summer classes to do. So I did those. I did them, I passed them, except for one class. It was in August, and it was with a professor that I really admire, actually, really do admire, because she is basically what I wish I was. You know, she's an author, she's a poet, she's a published writer, she is, um, what do you say? Like a person with really great distinctions. And she's a professor, and so when I was in her class, I wasn't handing in the things that I was supposed to hand in. Now, was I capable of doing that work? Yes, I was. And could I have passed that class? Yes. But I think that's where like my ADHD comes in and my perfectionism, if that's a word, I don't know. But that also with like some unhealed stuff from my childhood, all of that put together creates a very shitty soup, I guess. You know? So I was afraid of handing in these assignments. I was afraid of doing the work because I was thinking, like, what if I do all of this? And this is me being for real, like, completely real, like, embarrassingly real. I was in this class and I was thinking to myself, like, okay, what if I do the work and I hand it off to said professor? She looks at it and she's like, "What the hell?" I was thinking worst case scenario. And then at that point, it was kind of like, why even do the work just to be judged and then be failed? I would rather fail my way than be failed because I tried. You know what I mean? But I know that that's a small voice in my head from that that's like learned behavior I learned like from back when I was a kid. It's self-sabotaging. I know that now because I've reflected on it. And it's also part of it gives me a false sense of control. I think, it's because of, again, childhood wounds I have not healed from. If I was to be vulnerable and put my thoughts down on paper to be judged by this person that I think a lot of, freaked me out. And I had no control over that. So the only way to control that anxiety that would give me was just to not even submit anything, which is not the most healthy way to go about things, but that's just the way that I did it. Now, am I doing that again in this course? Of course. Of course I am, because why not? Don't listen to me. Do not listen to me. Don't listen to this and think like, I'm gonna do that. That makes sense. I'm gonna do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. Learn from my mistakes. Stick it out, believe in yourself, get the work done, ask for the help if you need it, and just do it. Because I kid you not, I've been at this for it's not been 8 years, it's been 7 years. Okay, I lied. Yeah, 7 years, 8 years, whatever. Do not do what I did. Just stick it out and keep going. But I mean, I'm still doing it. I'm still going. I'm still trying. Um, Again, I'm going to be vulnerable with you. This happens to me a lot. I self sabotage a lot, but I keep going because I feel like if you keep stopping, if you keep quitting, if you keep giving up, what are you going to do? I learned at a very young age that you have to always take care of yourself. You always have to take care of yourself first. And it's not to say, like, be selfish and treat people shitty, no, it's treat yourself the way that you would want somebody else to treat you. Put yourself first the way you want other people to put you first, because I've learned from a young age that the people who are supposed to put you first don't always put you first. Because at the end of the day, you are not the center of the universe. And I know that. I'm not the center of the universe. I'm not the center of anybody's universe. Um, but what I have to do is show up for myself every single day and get things done, you know? And it's the way that it went for me in high school. That's really when I learned that because I kept going to school and I kept dropping out. I was like 17 still in grade 10. Not that there's anything wrong with it, but I knew at 17, like, bitch, you should be graduating. And then all my friends that, I started grade 10 with were graduating. Um, and that sucked. That was rank FOMO. And then when I was 18, I went back to school. I mean, I went back to school when I was 17. And then I went, like just kept going and kept going. And, I did it. Anyways, but yeah, I don't know. You just have to keep showing up for yourself and putting yourself first. Because again, not everybody is going to do that for you. This is cool. If you can see my setup, I'm recording my audio on my MacBook and my phone there and my mic. My brother bought me this mic. I guess this first episode is just about being vulnerable. I just want to be vulnerable. Can we do that? Can I just share these thoughts with you guys? Is that all this podcast is gonna be? Is just to be just a big brain dump? Whatever. Anyways, but I'm just so thankful for everything in my life. I'm thankful for my family. I'm thankful for my friends. I'm thankful for my baby. I just love him so much. Like he's the best. He is the best. And I have a my partner Ian. We've been together for like 8 years. So also the amount of time that I've been in university. Um, we met in PA. That when I was living with my bro, with my best bro Mal, I met him there and we've just been together ever since. I think the longest that we've been apart, if I'm being honest, was maybe like 10 days and that's just when he was working his little shift job that he was doing when we first met. Um he's cool. I like him. I'm gonna text him and I'm gonna tell him like, hey, text me before you come down because I'm recording and I'm shy. I come from a pretty big family. My brothers and his sisters alone, I have 4 sisters and 3 brothers. I'm kind of in the middle. Not really. My older brother's like the middle child, I guess, out of everybody, but I'm also there. Um, the way that it goes is there's my oldest sister Flora, um, my okay, there's Flora, there's Cherish, Justin, Jordan, me, Mary Rose, Tiki, and then Harris. So yeah, I have a big family, lots of brothers and sisters. Um, and I love them all, even if some of us we don't talk. And stinks up in heaven, but I can, like I want to do an episode just about her and just talking about her and just sharing her life with you guys because I think it's important to immortalize her in some way, you know? I want to share with you guys, like, just how big of an impact she had on me in this life. Because I just love her so much and she was the best and I miss her and I love her. Stink is Tiki. And Tiki passed away in 2023, so 2 years ago. Um, but she was the best and she's, my person and I miss her so much every day. Anyways, but yeah, brothers and sisters, love them. Harris, I'm gonna have him on a podcast here, um, on a episode too, because he's just like he's funny. He's funny. Like Harris is just funny. He brings out the best in me. Like hanging out with him, it reminds me of hanging out with Stink. They make me laugh so much. Yeah, and then my mom, she's from Mistawasis. Grew up around here, around Saskatoon, Meadow Lake, that area. My dad's from Isla Cross, who, funny story, I thought was like Métis my entire life. So I thought I was Métis, hence my sash. Just kidding. Actually, I got the sash when I graduated from high school. And if you're an audio listener, I have a sash here. I got this sash when I graduated high school because I was going to a Métis. I was going to a school in a Métis community. So when we got our diplomas, we got this and we got a sash. Or sorry, we got this and we got our degree or diploma. I don't know, certificate, whatever. So we got that. And so I was walking around my entire life, like in my bios and stuff, thinking I was like a real, um, real indigenous warrior walking in like three worlds. I was Métis, I was Cree, I was in the modern world. But I legit thought that, like, okay, I was, you know, Korean Métis. Like, that's just what I thought I was this entire time. But then all of a sudden, fast forward to this year, my dad got his status with Flying Dust, and all of a sudden it's like, okay, am I even Métis? So real embarrassing. I'm putting Korean Métis in all my bios, and I had to go and fucking take out the Métis because I don't even. At that point, I was like, am I even Métis? Like, am I a pretendian? Am I ripping off like a whole community saying I'm Métis right now? So whatever, I took it out, but whatever. Anyways, my cookum's Métis, so I'm part Métis. Like, there's Métis in my whatever, but don't cancel me if it comes out and I'm not Métis and I'm still claiming to be Métis. I'm not. I'm Cree, okay? I'm Cree. I'm Cree. I'm Cree. I'm full Cree. I'm full Cree. Chill. But yeah. Anyways, so that was embarrassing. That was embarrassing, and like that story always like makes me laugh because I'm literally walking around my entire life like, yeah, I'm Cree Métis. I'm Cree Métis, and then all of a sudden my dad pops out with a status card and I'm like, "What the hell?" But yeah, so I'm like from Flying Dust too, which I mean that makes sense because my cookum, her mom was from Flying Dust, and then her dad was Métis or French, something like that. Anyways, but he's yeah, so I don't know, it's like a whole thing, I don't know. Maybe I'll have like my mom or somebody in here and explain that, and we can learn about my ancestry together. We can do that. We can dive into who I am. Just kidding, but yeah. Anyways, so I'm just a Cree girl. I'm just Nehao, I guess. Which is not just I guess, that's who I am and I'm proud of it. And I'll yell it and I'll scream it every single day. I'm Nehao, like I'm Cree. I'm from Treaty Six, Um, but yeah, I don't claim to be Métis anymore because I don't want to have my little podcast blow up in, I don't know, like a year from now. Uh, but I don't want it to blow up in the future. And people are calling me out, being like, She's a fucking pretendian. She's not even Métis. But for real though, like, people get canceled over that shit, and like rightfully so, because if you're claiming to be Métis or to have some sort of indigenous ancestry just to like gain something off of it, like that's sick and you need to be canceled. But like I'm just saying I thought that was for real. Like I thought I was Métis, so I was claiming that. And now I'm just kind of like backing away from it and I'm like, okay, I'm just claiming Cree because I know 100%, like I know I'm Cree. Like I know I'm from Treaty 6. you know. So, yeah, don't sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, but yeah, don't cancel me. Um please, please, I'm begging you, please. Uh wouldn't that be wild? I post this episode and then all of a sudden like go viral and everybody's talking about how I was claiming I was Métis and I'm not even Métis. Wouldn't that be embarrassing? That would actually um be so sad. I honest to goodness have been thinking about doing this podcast for years. Like I said, when I was like no, not even 16. That was a lie, okay? When I was like 17 or 18, when I started watching uh which fun fact was like one of my favorite YouTube series ever. That's when I really started getting into YouTube because I was living somewhere that they had Wi-Fi. Fun fact, which is not a fun fact, it's actually kind of sad. I never had Wi-Fi in any of my homes. Like as a kid, never had Wi-Fi ever. So I used to get Wi-Fi off of the kid who lived across the road. Their
Allegedly.
Wi-Fi was free, and so I used to have a laptop and I would use that to watch movies on those free movie sites, and then uh sometimes the Wi-Fi would shut off or something. I don't know. It was so embarrassing, but whatever. That's the struggle I lived in, and that's some real shit. That's some real shit, man. Um so I was stealing Wi-Fi off the kid across the street. He was cool though. And this was, yeah, back in the day when I was like 17. But anyways, so I was finally living in a place where they had Wi-Fi. Um and I was like, "Hell yeah." And I swear to God, I swear to God, when I was like 17, yeah, that's when I was living in this place. I was 17 and I was living somewhere that had Wi-Fi for the very first time in my life. I didn't have to be a Wi-Fi warrior. Well, I was a Wi-Fi warrior, but I didn't have to wait until I went to somebody else's house to use the Wi-Fi. I kid you not, I probably stayed in that house for an entire year. And sorry to my bros, but like I stopped like leaving the house. I was going to school, but not really. Not enough to get those credits. Again, back to the struggle, self-sabotage. Um, but I started watching with Trixie and Katya, and it was like the funniest thing ever. And then I started watching just a bunch of different stuff. Just a bunch of different stuff on YouTube. I was watching like, I don't know, BuzzFeed shit, and like I really started looking into like indigenous topics and indigenous movies and just like all that stuff. And so it was so cool. And swear to God, I went into like hermit mode for a whole year because I had like unlimited access to the internet for the first time in my life. It was so cool. Um, and then I don't know, whatever. Yeah, if you're my bro, like you know this time in my life. You probably didn't even see me for like months. Um, but yeah, anyways, so back then when I was watching stuff on YouTube, I started coming across people's like podcasts. And at the time, the podcast um channel, I don't know, like podcasts were not like, okay, sorry, I went on a break because I thought I heard Ian and now I'm scared. I'm kind of self-conscious. Which is funny because you'd think that like because I'm going to put this on the internet for the entire world to see, which it'll probably only make it to like 10 people at most. You'd think that I would be okay with that, but I'm not because, like, again, it's the thing with my professor, you know? I care about what he thinks, so I don't want him to listen to this because I feel like I'm being a goofball. But whatever, you know? Art is art, and this is my art. This is what I want to do, so I just gotta bite the bullet and do it. Okay, what was I talking about? Okay, I was talking about oh, when I was 17, again, I was like had fully unlimited access to the internet for the first time in my life, and it was crazy. Um, yeah, disappeared from the world for like a year, and I was watching YouTube videos and listening to music and catching up on everything. I was watching movies I like didn't get to watch before, and just like I don't know. I'm not even I don't even but whatever. Anyways, so during that time, I was I started coming across podcasts. Um but there were no real like podcasts at the time that were um being produced or created by girls like me. And I'm a woman now, but at that time I was a girl, okay? So that's why I am saying girls like me, okay? So back then, when I was 17, 18, yeah, there were really no podcasts like again for girls like me. And I just used to think like, oh, I wish I could do a podcast then. I used to also wish that I could do YouTube videos. I wished I could do makeup tutorials. Now, if you go back to my pictures from 2014, 2015, I had no right thinking I could do a makeup tutorial because I literally had every kind of blindness that you could have. I had um eyebrow blindness. I had like lack of blush blindness. I was not serving Kylie, even though I thought I was, you know, so it's kind of like probably a good thing I didn't start doing that. Um, but I've always just had like a passion for talking to people and for posting and for creating. In high school, I was probably posting so many videos of um just like cheap content I was editing. Like, I would do it for assignments. I would make my friends make videos with me and I would edit them and I would just have so much fun. And so, like, this podcast thing kind of like is really um something I really wanted to do for such a long time. It's very low editing, but it's like I just get to talk for an hour and that's what I love doing. I get like I want to keep this to an hour, but maybe the first one will be shorter. I don't know, depending on what I want to share and what I don't. Cuz I'm just rambling here. I really have no end goal. I just want to talk to you guys um about me, and that sounds so I'm sorry, that sounds so cringe, and that's so like why the hell would I want to talk about me? Um because I really think that a lot of the things that I've gone through in life, people can relate to. I think the things that I find interesting, other people find interesting too. A lot of the times, I don't have anybody to talk to. And so here you are. Take my hand and let's get into whatever this podcast is going to be, you know? Come Kiyamin with me, you know? And let's just vibe. Yeah. And then when I was like 20, I remember doing homework with my friend Haley, my best friend Haley, um doing homework in my living room. Um our first year of university and just talking shit and being like, "Man, we should make a podcast." I remember telling her that and she was like, "What the hell would we even talk about?" Like a podcast about what? And I was like, "Literally anything." I'm pretty sure on a podcast all you do is talk. That's really all you do is just talk. And I could talk for hours. If we went on a 7-hour road trip, you know what I'm doing for 7 hours? Is talking. I would have a new topic for every town. There's going to be moments of silence on that road trip, but it's just me thinking of more things to talk about. So I just love connecting with people, and this is nice, and I'm really excited. And I have really funny friends, and I have really funny like family members. Like my cousins are so funny. My aunties and uncles are so funny. Um my best friends are so funny. Like literally everybody in my life is so funny, and I can't wait for you guys to meet them and for you guys to get to know me more and for us to just talk shit. Let's talk about the name. Let's talk about the name. So, um, me and Ian went on a drive the other day and I was just trying to like brainstorm names with him and he all of a sudden just says like Kiyamin. So he says Kiyam. Um, I say Kiyam, so I don't know. It's kind of like whichever way you say it, doesn't matter. Kiyam is Kiyam. Um, but yeah, like it's just that's a name that he came up with and I really liked it because I just be Kiyamin, you know? My tattoo here, if you are on the video, you can see it. This is my Kiyam tattoo. I have it in syllabics. Um I'm kind of afraid though I'm pretty sure that's what it says in syllabics. I did my research. But I'm also afraid that one day I'm gonna be walking like around at a powwow or like round dance or like just out in the street and an elder's gonna come up to me and be like, you know, your tattoo says, I don't know, something like deer meat or something. And then all of a sudden I'm gonna be walking around with a tattoo that says deer meat in syllabics, and this whole time I thought it said Kiam. So, whatever. I mean, if that's what it is, that's what it is. And Kiam. I guess I'm still gonna tell people that it says Kiam. Because at the end of the day, Kiam, you know? Um, yeah, and I think, a lot of situations in life we could just say Kiam. It's not a big deal. Nothing's ever a big deal. I think that's like an important thing. Is like nothing's ever a big deal. Um, by the way, I have ADHD, which I think also helps in coming up with so many topics to talk about every single day, every single hour, every single minute. My mind is always going and going and going, and somehow this train of thoughts I have constantly going always comes back to what I was trying to say. You know what I mean? This train will go everywhere, but it will somehow stop in the right spot. You know what I mean? So I'm sorry if I ramble and ramble and ramble and ramble, and you're like, why the hell is she talking about this? It's because there's a point for it. There is a point for it. Um, do I know what it is? No. Do you know what it is? No. But at some point, I will make the connection for the story, and it will make sense. That's the way that my brain works. Thanks to ADHD. Um, but yeah, so I got ADHD. I have depression. I have anxiety. If you haven't picked that up already, yes, I have anxiety. I have anxiety like I think I've been living with it my entire life. And that's not even to say like um I'm not like like Tumblr girl, like I have anxiety and it's who I am and it makes me, no. I have anxiety and it is a nuisance and I wish that it would go away, but it doesn't. I do things to alleviate it, but it's just there. It's just there and it's always there. And I worry about everything and every situation. And I think of every outcome there possibly could be, and there are always more negative ones than positive ones, but I kind of learned how to kind of scoop up the negative ones and just, yeah, you just kind of throw them away. It doesn't matter. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter. It does matter, and I will think about every single possible outcome, but at the end of the day, it doesn't matter because what's supposed to happen will happen. What's meant for you will come to you, and if it's not meant for you, it's not meant for you, and it won't work out. And that's okay because what is meant for you will work out, you know? Kiyam, Kiyam, you know? That's it. That's it. That's it. We'll cut it there. Um again, thanks for listening to my podcast, listening to this episode. I think my I I'm gonna try and stay consistent. I promise, Pinky, promise. I'm gonna try to stay consistent. I think I'm gonna do my posts on Wednesdays. So it's Sunday today. It's Sunday. I'm gonna work on getting this edited and we'll see what day I post it. Okay. And then I'm going to give myself a week to post another one on the same day. So, whatever day I get this posted on is going to be the day that I guess I'm choosing to have my episode come out. I hope that you enjoyed listening to me ramble. I hope you enjoyed listening to me share a little bit about myself, explain who I am, and just talk. Thanks for letting me just talk and letting me brain dump. And yeah, thanks for all of that. And tune in for the next episode. Bye.